Hello everyone, welcome to a ToooAir tutorial for the 8-way TC500 docking station. We will have assumed that you've connected in everything, so you've got the USB cable to the PC, to the docking station, you've got the power connected, it's all switched on, and you've got the big red button switched on, and you can see your green LEDs. The 8-way docking station requires a little bit of initial setup before you can start cracking on with just the data transfers and moving on. So after the setup, it'll be simply drop and play. The one thing you'll need to keep note of is the cameras need to be on for data transfer to happen, but that's all that needs to happen. So as long as the cameras are on, you just pop it into the bay, it'll automatically transfer data to the set locations that we've set. So let's set it up. So first we need to find our charge bay. So it should be connected to our PC. If we go into File Explorer, you can click on the File Explorer icon here. You can click it on here. You can press Windows key E. That'll open up a File Explorer as well. If we go to the USB drive, as my computer has recognized it as, we go into here, click on the My Docking folder, scroll down, all the way down till we see mydocking.exe. Now, so we don't have to do this process again, you right click on it, come down to send to, and then click on create desktop shortcut. This will send the shortcut to this to our desktop. I've done one here, so I can now just double click on this shortcut here to get me to my docking software. So let's go and launch the docking software. Now, on initial setup, you'll need to set the language you want. English should be default. You'll need to set a disk path that you want to save to. Just open a little folder icon to open up a save dialog and select one of the drives. And then click setting to save and finalize those settings. And you should open up into the bay display for the docking station. Now, the bay display, each bay is displayed with a device ID, which we'll get to soon, which is the serial number of a device, the officer ID, which we'll assign to serial numbers, the officer name that we can assign to the officer ID, the total size of the data that needs to be transferred, the quantity of files left that need to be transferred, and the time remaining. Please note if size and quantity is 0, that means it is completed and there's nothing left to transfer. Down the bottom, you'll see the live display here. We've got CPU usage, the RAM usage, and our storage usage as well. At the top, we have the menu bar. We have the first icons, the minimize button. We have the review files on the docking station, which we'll get to shortly. And we have changed the password. You should have been given some credentials in email when purchasing these products. If you don't have that, please contact your local ToooAir dealer and get those credentials. Now, we can click on to review files and enter in those credentials that we've been given. I'm just going to put in mine now. Click login. Once we've logged in, we'll notice the top display has changed. And if we just left click on options again, we'll get to our file storage options display. So in the file storage options display, we can adjust how the station saves files to our hard drives. So here we have cover the oldest file. So in the event the hard drive's full, it'll start overwriting the oldest files first. Auto purge expired files, so this will start deleting files that have expired after our set dates down here. So down here we have 80 days for normal, 120 days for high importance, 23 for moderate, and 0 for void. Over on the left hand side here, this is the compatible list of files that the station can read, which is everything we need for our cameras as we do WAV, MP4, MP3 files and JPEG files, which is everything here. We can change the disk drive that we want to save it to if you change your mind about where you want to save things. It is compatible with saving it to, say, a Google Drive or a OneDrive or a shared drive, Microsoft Drive, or a network drive as well. So you can select those if you have them visible here as well. So deleting uploaded files. This will delete the files off the cameras after they've been transferred. So after the transfer is complete, it will delete the older files off the camera for you. So we can click setting to save all those customizations that we've just done. So now that we've set up the save path and what we want to happen with the files, and just keep in remember the importance level here, because we can adjust that per ID soon, per recording soon, sorry. So if we click on personal at the top left here, so I'm just going to say click save here, and then click close. And then on personnel, so we're going to left click personnel. And here we can create personnel or IDs for each camera that we have. So each camera has a unique serial number. This serial number can be located on the box or underneath the camera device itself. And we can assign usernames to these cameras. So a good rule of thumb is how they're set up on the POC system. We can basically mimic that for our serial numbers again here. So if this is cam 1 and cam 2, we can set them up to say cam 1 and cam 2. So if we left click add, we can add in the officer ID, which is a numerical value. I've just put in 1001 here. We have the officer, I've said cam 1. And then the device ID, this is the important part. This is the serial number, which is case sensitive. So as you're typing that one in, just make sure you've got caps lock on to put in the device ID. And a memo, so that's just a description for the guy officer. I've just put in, he's in the Alpha group. It could be the bouncer, it could be night patrol, it could be roadside assistance, whatever scenario you're making this system for. So we can click confirm to create an account. We can do this for every serial number device we have. Please note you don't have to do this. It will still transfer the data without doing this, but this is just helpful for your side to do the user management. So once we've set all that up and we've confirmed and we're happy with our serial numbers and idents, we can click close to this to bring us back to our bay display. And I'm just going to start dropping in my cameras here. So I've already done some recordings earlier. And as you can see, the cameras get automatically recognized. It brings us up our IDs which is created and starts to allocate files and folders to each of those IDs for us. And as you can see, we've got the size remaining still, the quantity, and as it hits 0, it means we're finished and done. So after it's finished, we can just take these cameras back out of the bays. And then that's the end of the transfer. That's all done. So again, since we've set up our initial storage path and our IDs, this is now done. We won't have to do that again. Moving forward, say tomorrow, I'll just drop in my cameras and it will automatically do all this for me. As long as I have the cameras turned on and this software is open and it's obviously connected to the PC. So after the transfers can be complete, we can then review the files. So if we left click on review files, you'll see it's populated all of our files. We've got the devices that were connected. And there's our files here. We've got dates stamped. We've got recording times for our files. We've got lengths. We've got resolutions. We've got the office ID and officer name. What type of file type it is here. Sorry. When it was uploaded and the file size as well. So we can customize our query search here if we wanted to via date, officer, importance level. Again, make note of the importance level, the date uploaded, the file types or protected files, and what have you. So we can play back recordings by selecting one. So left click a recording and then left click play. This will play back the recording that we have. Likewise, we can actually left click one of the recordings. I'll just pick up a random one and left click detail. So this will bring up our detailed display as well as play the video while we're looking at it. It'll give us back the officer ID, the officer name, the serial number for the radio, the body camera, sorry, and all the end time, start time, format, all that kind of stuff. Let me just pick here. This one's a bit better. So we can also get to here from double clicking one of these entries as well. So double left clicking an entry will bring up this dialog as well. The importance level. So this is where we can set the importance level. So as I said back from the retaining dates, so if I had it to high, I think we set it to 120 days instead of 80 days. So it'll hold this recording for 120 days instead of 80 days. Also, we could use it for that filtering with the query search up here. Remember, we've got all levels, or we could change that to a different level. So the case ID, this is again used for searching and just naming the recording so it's something familiar that we can quickly check out. So for argument's sake, I would call this shop A incident. And then I'd put down in the notes, Karen didn't wear her face mask in shop A. The protected tick box. Now, protected means that the software can't delete the file or overwrite the file. So if you have an important recording that you don't want to lose, I recommend protecting it. Then you won't overwrite it or delete it by accident. The software actually won't let us delete it. So if I just tick that and click confirm, close. From the right hand side here you see protected, you can see it's ticked. So now if I go and try and delete it, you cannot delete this selected file. So that's a handy tool if you don't want it deleted or you want to retain it for a long period of time. We can left click unprotect to remove that protection as well. So we have the download tool. So if I select a file, this one here, click on download. Yes, this opens up a save dialog where I can save this file from our database to a separate saved location. So if I need to take this to evidence or something, I can just save it elsewhere to put onto a USB stick or something like that. We also have burn disk. So if we want to burn this recording to a DVD, we can also use the burn tool as well to burn this to a DVD if you have a DVD drive that you can burn discs with. We also have an export feature, so we can select the columns that we'd like to export. It's basically exporting what we're viewing here now. It'll export the query search that we've just done. We can customize what columns we'd like to get exported as well. And that will export out to a CSV file. We can import data from other directories or from a different disk. Please note that the structure of the files needs to mimic that of what we have here. So it has to have the ID at year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds, and then the compatible file extensions that this software can read in. If that's something you'd want assistance with, please contact us on our website. I've just showed you the delete. If you delete files, this can't be undone and it is permanently deleted, so please be careful of deleting things as you can't get them back. And we have down on the side here the list of devices which we can click through and filter out as well if you want a quick filter through via device and date. as well. So we can just close that one there. So we also have reports. So this software generates reports based off of the statistics of the files transferred. So we have the video files, video length, the audio files, audio length, time, photos, subtotal photos, and then the total file size. And then down the bottom you have the total of everything down here as well. And we have nice little charts that build nice pie chart, column chart and line chart here as well. We can just click the exit button there to close that one. The software also has logs. So the software will log everything a user does via the software. So as you can see here, we've reviewed the files from the camera that we've done here. We can see that I've unprotected something, I can see I've deleted something, and I've checked out the reports, and now I'm checking out the logs. So this can be filtered to date, officer doing it, and what event types happen as well. And then down the bottom we have a records number. These records are kept for about 6 months, and then after 6 months they're overwritten. We can export them and delete them. Again, deleting them can't be undone, so please be careful. Exporting them, like the other export feature, I just select the columns you like, export out to CSV file as well. So the security side. So the software can handle multiple management, so sub-management users for individual user login. So if we left click on the security tab, we can create and modify users. If we click on add, we can add in a user number, or we can add in previous officers that we've created here for our cameras. So if I could put in cam1, we get our officer ID number in there. We already get the cam1. We can set up cam1 with a password. Please note it needs to be at least 6 characters long and it has a numerical and alphabetical value. So I'm just going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A, for example. And then we have available. So available means if the account can actually be used. If a staff member left the company per se, you could de-tick available and then this account wouldn't be able to be used, but you would still have the credentials of that user. So you would still have cam1 information and file management in our reviews files logs. Whoops. So there we have cam1. So if I select cam1, I can adjust the permissions level access he has here on the right hand side. So I can turn off whether or not he can review files, reports, logs, personal security options. We can also permit whether or not they can delete files, download files, review files, protect files, and what have you here. That's fully your preference and can be customized there. We can delete a person if we like by selecting someone and clicking delete, and then they'll be gone. We can just click the close button there to get us back to our Bayes display again. We can use the exit button here to exit the review tab, I guess you could call it, or exit out of the user account. To log back in, we just click on the review files and we need to log back in again here. Or we can press the exit system button here to completely exit out of the software altogether. So now that I've set it all up, just going back through, I've come back the next day. I've turned on my PC. I just quickly launch our docking software from my desktop there, and we're good to go. So just remember, you need to have this active or started, running in the background, and you need to have your cameras on, and the data transfer will happen automatically. Depending on how fast your CPU is depending on the transfer rate. It should be around 2 to 5 minutes for about 64 gigs worth of recordings, which is the roughly give or take 4 8-hour shifts. And thank you.